Hello everyone, my name is Hilary Chin. Thank you all so much for coming and watching our YouTube channel. Today we want to take you through Power BI. We've looked at other basics in Power BI. Today we want to show you how to load in your data, create relationship and start doing visualizations. Let's just move in and I show you what that means. Right here we are on our Power BI. I'm not going to stress you too much to explain too many things to you. And then also here I want us to look at the data that we are going to be visualizing. The name of the data is our Power BI 2. So right here we have the data here in. This is the data here. Here we want to be looking at this table, vegetable and home gardening. And one thing I want to let you know is that both of the tables have one column that is the same in all of them. They have the IDP column, which is status here, and then also vegetables table has the status column, which is also right here. So we are going to be using these two columns in our Power BI to create relationship between these two tables. And then also you should know that this is talking about home gardening. This is a questionnaire we created, and these are responses of respondents who responded. And then here also this other one is unique because it talks about vegetables. So we are going to just load this in our Power BI and then we start creating visualizations. Let's jump in. So right here in our Power BI, what we do, we just come up here and then we go to home and then we go to get data and we click, and then since we are dealing with Excel, we click the Excel. And then when we click Excel, remember we are dealing with Power BI 2. This is the name of the Excel sheet, and then we just click there and then we click open to load the data. So immediately we go and click Excel, put in our data. This is what we have here, okay? But right now I don't want us to load in yet. We first come here and we look at the tables that we wanted to, or that we want to analyze or create visuals. So we have home gardening, we click that, we need that table in, and we click vegetable, we need this table in as well. And once you click, you look down here, you begin to see these three options come on. And the first one says load data and the second one says transform data. So we are going to be transforming this data, so we'll just click transform. Wow, amazing. So once we click transform, it brings us to Power Query. Power Query is also found in Excel. We also use it in Excel, but today we are in Power BI, so we'll be focusing on the Power Query in Power BI. So there are certain things I want to do with these tables. Take note of something right here. This is the home gardening table. If you click here, you bring the home gardening table on, and here we begin to see all the columns. So the first thing I'll do here is I'll come here. There is a particular column that I don't need. This section concerns home gardening. This section was just introducing the questionnaires to respondents. So I'm going to come here and I right click and I click remove. So it removes that column. Also under vegetables we have that same column as well, so I'll check it out. So I'm looking for that column. We don't need it. This is it here. All the values are null. There's no value there. So I right click and then I click removed. Okay, and then I come up here again to home garden, and then I go to choose column and I click. I want to choose the columns that I want to use to analyze my data or create visualizations. And once I click this, you see there are too many columns here. So I'll come here and unselect, and then I start selecting again to status. Click this one, click this one, click this one. So right now I'm selecting the columns that I want to analyze, okay? And then I click OK, you see? So now I have selected specific columns that I want to analyze, okay? And then I also come to vegetables and I also go to choose columns, and then I have to look and see what we have here, okay? Everything is fine, there are no extra columns, and then I click OK. And then I look again around and I check there's something I want you to take note here, okay? Right here we are dealing with numbers. These are not here. Power BI doesn't recognize this as dates, okay? It recognizes this as numbers. So we are going to remove this column as well. Remove this. I go back to home gardening, and then I go again to that column and I remove it, okay? Great. So there's something I also want to show you. If I come here and I right click and I go down here and I go to change type, the data type, okay? The data type here is text. So when the data type is text, you see A, B, C here. When the data type is number, you see 1, 2, 3 here. When it's date, you see the date sign here. When it's dealing with countries, you see the country sign here, okay? So right now I think we are done with cleaning. I would have loved to remove all these question signs, but to remove them is simple. You just right click and then come under here, it say rename, and then you see, and then you rename this data, and then you can now cancel this question mark, and then you click OK here. Okay, and that's it. But I would have loved to do it for all the questions. I just did that for you to see how you can also change the name of the column right top there. Now we are done. Let's just go up here to this small button and we click close and apply, and we click close and apply. So after we have loaded our data here, you see that on this side, under the field, you see that we have those we have our table here, and we have all the different questions. Okay, and then also under the vegetable table, we have our options here. So if we come here, another thing we have to do is we have to create relationships. So we are going to click here to create relationships. Now it's simple. Remember, status is here. Without wasting so much of our time, I'll just copy this and I paste it here, because these two tables have one similar data, which is status. Okay, it's equal. It's the same for home garden table. It's the same for vegetable table. So that's why we are creating relationships using that specific columns. Okay. You see, when we click a relationship, it brings us here, and then it specifies, Power BI specifies that we want to use status on the vegetable table and also status on the home gardening table, and then we click OK. And that's it. We have created a relationship. We give it some time. You see, it's working on it. Power BI is working on it. It's smart enough to do that. So you see, when we click, it brings us here. So this is the relationship created, many relationships here. And here, after creating a relationship, we come now to report view. We click there, and it brings us here. Right now, we want to start creating our visuals. So under home gardening here, we have these options. These are the different questions that we ask per our Excel sheet. And then also under vegetables, these are the different questions that we ask per our Excel sheet. And respondents had to respond. So we want to see what actually the result of their responses per question. So the first thing we want to do, this kind of questionnaires is good to use visuals. Like here we use bar chart. We click our bar chart first, and each time you click any visual, it brings it inside your Power BI report view here, okay, on your desktop. So right now we are going to click the first question. When we click this, you see we have clicked the first question. You see it's appearing here, but there's something I want you to take note of. Okay, right now we have this area here. So if you look at our first question that we have clicked, it has only appeared on the y-axis of this visual. So we want to also bring it to the x-axis here for it to start making sense. So we take the same question and we drag and drop. Okay, it's about dragging and dropping. Okay, I'm comparing this with the pivot table operation in Excel. Okay, just dragging and dropping, and then you're seeing the result. Now we created our first visuals. Okay, so here I'm going to expand this for you to see. You see, so when I create this first visual, what we have to do right here is to make sure that we clean it. Okay, so to clean this, we come here under our B visuals, and we come under this small option and we click. When we click here, it gives you two options. It gives you visuals and general. So you come under visuals here, you have y-axis. So if I off this y-axis, the response is, you see the response here. Okay, I have off that. I've put it off, so it turns off these options here. So if I put it back on, it brings on these options here, which is yes and no. If I do that for X as well, it turns off this other area here. You see now. So I want this to go off. So again, when I come again under y-axis and I click, under y-axis we have title for y-axis, which is this title. So if I click this off, you see it takes that off. You see, amazing. So if I go back to my x-axis and I click under my x-axis, I also want to clear off this title, and I go under my x-axis. It also has a title on, and I click. You see, it takes it off. Good. So when I go now, and after doing this, when I go now to general, if I move to general, no, first of all I want to put the data labels on, and I come here and I put the data labels on. You see it's going to appear here. So here it tells me there are 42 people who said yes, and there are just 9 persons who said no. Okay, and if I go under this data label and I click, you see that it start giving me options. Okay, if I go under positioning, okay, I want to see where I want this numbers to position, whether they want to if I want them to position inside or outside. So I'll say inside in, and I click inside in. and then these numbers will come and position themselves inside N. You see, they are now inside N. If I come under values here and I want to increase the font size, I just increase it from here, 11. You see, they are getting bigger. You see, so this is how you can analyze your visuals. And then if I come down here and I reduce, cancel this, and I come to general here, I want to do something with this title. There are lots of titles here. I don't want them to appear. This is appearing because we had to put the name on the y-axis and x-axis, so all of them had to appear here. So if I come here now and I go under titles here and I just click, I off it, you see it deletes it off. But we want to know, we want the management to know the kind of question we have been analyzing. Okay, so we'll now come here and we come under here and we try to edit this. Okay, so if I click inside here, all this text you see is found in here. So if I click Ctrl A and I select and I just click backspace, you see all this goes off. So I can just come here and I put garden, for instance. So it gives me the question that I want, or it gives me the kind of question I want. This is just an example for you to know that you can edit this here and make it make your visual look nice. So you can do this for all other questions. Okay, you can still come here and you decide to choose a different visual, okay, by just coming here. You can come here and you decide to choose a pie chart. You just click a pie chart and this will change to a pie chart. Okay, this is already changing to a pie chart. You see, it changes to a pie chart. You can still come here and decide to put a donut chart, and you click a donut chart. You see, it changes to a donut chart. You can still come here and you decide to put a stack column chart. Okay, you see, it's changing to a stack column chart. You can still come here and you decide to put a clustered bar chart. You see, so you can do all these with all these other questions, and you create a beautiful visual here for management to see and understand what respondents did and how they went about putting in their information. Okay, these are the insights that are coming up from this data. That is why we say Power BI helps you to bring out the insights of your data. So now we can understand that this question had this response, and this can now inform decisions in organizations and also in our different places of work. Thank you so much and stay blessed.